Found some random sausage in the freezer that I forgot about. I'm gonna use it up. Hey everyone, back with another video in which I take some leftover ingredients in the house and try to make some meal out of it. I was rummaging through my freezer when I found this hidden package of sausage that I didn't even know we still had. And I also had some pappardelle that was going to expire soon, so that's what I decided to make. I don't know if I'll decide to make a series out of these videos where I try to make a random meal out of some leftover things I find in my house. But if you guys like it, please let me know. And let's go! As per usual, with most Italian dishes, you already know what we're going to do. We're going to start off with cutting some thin slices of garlic. I use around 7 cloves, but feel free to adjust your ratio as always. As someone who bakes and cooks now, I feel like the key difference is that recipes for cooking gives you a starting point. It's up to the cook to decide the flavor profiles, but that takes time to develop, so no worries. We're going to mix up some Italian parsley, and this is something I noticed, but a lot of non-Asian dishes like to stir in Italian parsley as a fresh, earthy component. I feel like that's because it's pretty neutral tasting, but it adds like a fresh element. Meanwhile, Asians like to use scallions. I could be overgeneralizing, but that's just something I noticed when I started cooking more. Now that we finished cutting up the aromatics and herbs, we will now get rid of the casing for the Italian sausage. I'm using some sweet Italian sausage, but as you can see right here, all you gotta do is cut a thin slice and then rip the casing off. If you have a super sharp knife, all you have to do is glide it across and the slit should be enough for you to rip the casing off. We want to do all this because we're going to crumple the sausage into little bits later, and this just makes it a lot easier. After all our prep is done, let's get a pot decently hot and add some olive oil. We're going to then add our sausage to brown it. Once you add all your sausage, use a spatula or in my case a wooden spoon to break it up into little chunks. If you've ever been to a halal cart and seen them chopping up your chicken, it's pretty much similar to that. I like to break it up into little chunks also because I feel like it browns a little bit faster, and this way you get little chunks of sausage with your pasta as well. Once your sausage is decently brown like this, we can add in our chopped garlic. I also like to add in some dry oregano as well for extra flavor. We're going to let the garlic cook for around a minute or until it becomes fragrant. After the garlic has been cooked a bit, we're going to add in a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. I add crushed tomatoes this time, but if you have them whole, just use your spatula or wooden spoon to break it apart. That's actually why I usually buy crushed tomatoes, because I'm lazy. Don't be wasteful, add some water back into the can and get whatever remaining tomato juices are still left in. We're going to give this a good stir and make sure to scrape up that fond you developed before when we were browning the sausage. Crack in some fresh black pepper and add some sugar to balance out the acidity of the tomatoes. Let the tomato sauce come up to a simmer and then we're going to keep it there until we finish cooking our pasta. Get a pot of water boiling and add a copious amount of salt. We want this thing to be salty when we cook our pasta. As usual, cook it for 1 minute less than what the box suggests. I'm using pappardelle like I stated before, which is a wide pasta noodle that is wider than fettuccine. I got this from Italy when I took a trip there pre-COVID, and pasta there is dirt cheap. Not only is it cheap, pretty much all the pasta I found there is bronze dye as well. What this means is that they cut the pasta using bronze dyes, and this gives the pasta a more rough texture. This will make the pasta extra starchy when you cook it in water, and it will help the sauce adhere to it better. Unfortunately, in the United States, most of our pasta aren't bronze dye cut, which means they have a smooth surface. You can tell the difference by looking at the texture of the pasta, although I recently started seeing more bronze dye pasta like this. It's pricey, but if you find it on sale, worth. Once the pasta is almost cooked through, add it to the marinara sauce that has been simmering for a while. We want to start stirring it to help emulsify the sauce, which will help adhere to the pasta more. I don't know if you can see it on video, but the bronze dye pasta is definitely thickening the marinara sauce more, and you can see how a lot of the sauce is already stuck on it. If it's getting a little too thick, you can add some pasta water to thin it out, and this will actually help the sauce stick to the pasta more. After stirring for a bit, I added some Parmigiano Reggiano, and you know, is it really pasta if you don't add some extra cheese as well? Finally, after cooking for around a minute, we can add the chopped up parsley, and then we're going to give it a good stir before we can serve it. Voila, some pretty good pasta. I'm not sure how authentic it is, but I can definitely vouch. It tastes pretty freaking good. I've recently been in the habit of trying to clear out my fridge with ingredients that I may have forgotten about, and then, you know, try to make random recipes with it. This helps me figure out how much improvement I made as a cook, since before all this, all I knew how to make was those bro diet meals, aka just chicken breast and rice. Well, that and bacon occasionally, but this is definitely a good way for me to see how I improved as a home cook. Hey, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe for more food guides down the line, and follow me on Instagram at Weekend Cooks. Take it easy.